The highest contested U.S. Senate races this year involves California, of course, Democratic incumbent Barbara Boxer versus Republican challenger Carly Fiorina.
Yep, and there was a big debate last night. Ned Lenderman shows us what happened.
As California's longtime Democratic senator and her challenger prepared to go at it on the campus of St. Mary's College in the Bay Area, local Democrats and Republicans gathered at viewing parties to cheer on their candidate. There may be a lot of disagreement on how to go about it, but the issue for Boxer and Fiorina, the issue in the governor's race as well, is how to create and keep jobs in hard-hit California. Fiorina blamed the incumbent Boxer for policies that are, quote, devastating the state.
And I am running for public office now because I, like so many of you, think our country is headed in the wrong direction. And I think the American dream is too hard for too many people.
But Boxer fired back, criticizing Fiorina's record as CEO of Hewlett-Packard.
And when I talk about shipping jobs overseas, I'm reminded of my opponent. When she was CEO of Hewlett-Packard, before she was terminated actually, she shipped 30,000 jobs overseas. Think of it. That's the size of Foster City.
The people watching tonight at the respective viewing parties are keenly aware of the strengths of their candidate and the perceived weaknesses of the opponent.
I think closer to Election Day, voters are going to recognize that it's not the politicians they should be beating up on, it's the business people who have exported jobs, who have brought businesses down, who have really impacted the economy in such a negative way.
She can overcome that. You can't change the past, and obviously she was criticized for her role in Hewlett-Packard, but you have to realize that one of the most important things that we have to deal with here is the fact that tax rates on income, capital gains, dividends will increase markedly on January 1st of next year in the event that the Democrats maintain control of the Congress.
I have created jobs, I have cut spending, I have solved problems, and I think we need some common sense and some practical problem-solving ability in Washington, D.C.
Every time you really get past the surface, you see my opponent fighting for the billionaires, for the millionaires.
All right, so who was the big winner in the debate? That is the question this morning. Was it Senator Barbara Boxer or was it challenger Carly Fiorina? Political analyst John Dadian is here with his take. All right, John, what do you think? Who won?
Well, clearly it was a draw last night as far as on the issues. This is a textbook race in the sense that the issues are clear and both of these disagree on almost every issue. So it was a great debate. It was a draw. You give a little bit of a plus to Carly because anytime the challenger gets on the stage with the senator, the challenger appears senatorial, and people start thinking, could she be a senator? So that's a little bit of an advantage.
The economy, jobs, huge issue. The one point that Barbara Boxer made was that Carly Fiorina shipped jobs out of California. Do you think that resonated with anybody listening?
Oh, absolutely. I think it resonated. The point that I caught, which I think was a slight mistake on the part of the challenger, was when she kind of complained about her opponent saying about Hewlett-Packard. Well, if she's going to use that as her resume, she's got to be able to defend it.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, this really is a contrast in people. Career politician, basically, against a career CEO, a businesswoman. And, you know, they always say what we need is a business person in there to run things who understands these things.
In an hour, the only time that I saw that they agreed on anything was when they said, this is a clear contrast. If you believe in the opponent, go for her. If not, go for me. And it's absolutely accurate.
You know, what was one of the biggest points that Fiorina made that really hit Boxer hard? Oh,
well, clearly, I think the best point that's going in her favor is just the times that this is a very strong anti-incumbent mood. So the fact that she's been there, career politician, hasn't really been in the private sector, you know, certainly that was many years ago. All of those points, I think, clearly that's the foundation of the Republican strategy.
And we just saw that with Joe Miller in Alaska.
Absolutely. This is a bad year for incumbents across the nation. As rolling this way, and in November, I think we're going to see that continue.
And that cuts both ways, Democrats and Republicans.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, you know, I think the overall approval rating of Congress right now is something like 15% in the American people. You know, maybe 18% or something like that.
And of course, the joke going around, Dan, is what is that 15% thinking?
Right. Hey, let's talk about independents because this is such a tight race. Will it really come down to the independent vote?
Absolutely, without a doubt, period after it, in California and across the nation. In California, roughly, they're looking at actual turnout probably 20%, and that's going to decide that certainly the senatorial election and certainly the governor's also.
Right, turnout and what are the independents going to do?
That's
what are you reading with independents here in California?
They're holding their breath and waiting to see. Literally, today is the 2nd. Election day is 2 months from today exactly.
Yeah.
It's a long time, and I think it's in a tight race for the Senate. It's going to definitely bounce back and forth several times.
Well, of course, Carly Fiorina spending a lot of her own money, a lot of her money that she earned as a CEO. But we haven't, I don't know, I really haven't seen many Barbara Boxer ads, but Carly Fiorina is everywhere.
And that's a good point, Dan. Barbara Boxer right now has about an 18-to-1 advantage on fundraising, so you think that'd be good for her. But she's raising her money the traditional way through contributions, so they have to use it judicially. Carly could wait until last minute, dump her own money in, and be competitive. So, again, great contrast.
We've seen the Democrats wait a lot with Jerry Brown, and, you know, because of that situation.
And what you see is these races, both governor and senator are tied, even with them waiting.
All right, before we let you go, I want to talk about this teleprompter topic. We were discussing earlier about President Obama during his address, and even Chris Matthews slamming him for the use of the teleprompter.
Well, the Chris Matthews comment is important because not only is he a supporter, but now what you're seeing, and you've seen this now for a couple of weeks, is it covers both sides, the supporters, the opponents, the liberals, the conservatives. For example, one of the best quotes I heard was somebody who's always been an opponent, Bill Riley, very similar to Chris Matthews, but the phrase he used was that during the campaign, Obama was a rock star, and now he's boring. Now, I will be honest with you, analyzing the speech the other night, I think boring is an appropriate term.
There was no passion.
There's no passion.
There was no heart. It was, you know, and obviously, you know, we've had presidents that have been passionate, and they've been able to stand up there without a prompter and get their message across. Reagan obviously was the great orator, I guess
Bill
they called
Clinton was almost as good as they get, but Ronald Reagan clearly is the gold standard. There's a reason why they call him a great communicator. He was when he was talking to large crowds and one-on-one.
Yeah.
And we know what's interesting, though. He, as you said, the president was known for his speaking ability.
Yeah.
This was part of what made him so dynamic. So I think the shocking thing is to hear that this person that was so articulate during the campaign has become so dependent on something like a teleprompter. Even the question about using them in meetings. I mean, a lot of people just shaking their heads about that.
A phrase that they used in the late 70s when Poland was breaking away as independent. They said, let Poland be Poland. What needs to be done to the handlers? They need to let Obama be Obama. When they let him be himself, he is the best. He's on a par of Clinton and Reagan.
So you think the handlers are telling him, we want you to make sure you follow the script?
I think it's a combination of the handlers, and now he is in a different world than when he was at Kennedy. He is feeling more comfortable with teleprompter. Absolutely.
All right.
All right. Interesting perspective on the Senate race and also this issue with the teleprompter. All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks, John.
For being here, John.
We'll see you later.